Hi traders, this is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Wednesday, the 12th of June. All right, now as we come into Wednesday's trading now, normal liquidity, US dollar uncertainty is the sort of the theme of the market conditions at the moment. Now there's been no change in the technical framework of the major pairs at the top here from yesterday. And that's because there's been no major fundamental news. There's a bit of geopolitical washing about, but even that's dissipating. So what we have a situation is we've got to try and focus on where the key cash is coming into today's trading. So looking at the overall component of the core market drivers, okay, we've got the two geopolitical events, which are just nuisances, which we have to sort of avoid or look out for. But the weak US non-farm payrolls from Friday, it's pretty much finished up as far as momentum goes. But this is where the US CPI data today takes over and will give us that fresh bit of direction or momentum into the market, right? Now, on top of this, this is where the trading really starts as well. And I covered this in Where's the Cash yesterday. We've got the CPI numbers. Now, this is the first of three releases which are going to impact the Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar, for me, this is where trading starts. At the moment, it's trading sideways. It has been moving down on the longer time frames. We've got a situation where this thing could be, breaks another 20 points. It's back into that downtrend, going with its overall fundamental theme, which is down, right? All we need is weak CPI numbers. That trade is on. If the numbers come out strong out of China, well, you're probably sitting back and waiting because it's just going to drift in the range still. And that's where it comes back into the US CPI numbers will take over and give all these currency pairs direction. Stronger US CPI, it corrects the non-farm payrolls result from last week. Weak numbers, well, now we're starting to build a story of weakness in the US economy, and that is a story, and we should see all these currencies bounce, right? So there's going to be some opportunities coming up today, and that's why I'm saying, today is where the tangible trading opportunities start for the week. If you've been trading all week, and since Monday, and you get to today, like Wednesday, where I'm saying the markets are really going to kick into gear, well, you've done yourself a bit of injustice by losing cash earlier in the week. Aussie dollar, we're right here near a support trend line. That's what I'm thinking. The downside here is got to be a key target. If these Chinese numbers are weak, we'll start to see if these US tariffs are playing a bit of a role in slowing down that Chinese economy. Kiwi, well, it's following the Aussie, but in a bigger range. It's topped out up here above sort of 66.70. Now it's drifting back into the range. The short-term momentum is down, but it's right bang smack in the middle of the range. The whole fear around all these tariffs and Trump is dissipating. You can see dollar yen is trading sideways. Euro hasn't given up the ghost just yet, and this is where the US CPI numbers will come into play. The traders globally are waiting to see if the US CPI numbers are weak. Well, you know what? Euro's got a good chance to head up towards 114. There's no sort of resistance in the way. If it comes out really strong, it corrects the non-farm payrolls and should see pressure down here back towards 112.5 again. Sterling, Brexit. Actually, we had really strong employment numbers out of the UK yesterday. We had a short-term period of where it spiked higher up here and just slowly sort of fell away. So to me, sterling's way too hard to be focusing on at this point. Dollar CAD, it's come right back to that resistance level, which I mentioned yesterday. It's hit the resistance. It's now sort of starting to cruise to the downside, but this is where you've got to connect the dots, right? So we've got a short-term trend line here. It's going down. It really comes down to the CPI numbers. If US CPI numbers are strong, well, you don't want to be sitting short dollar CAD. You've got to manage that position. If the numbers come out weak, well, then we should see dollar CAD continue to the downside. It's going to be very important, today's CPI numbers, and hopefully you can start to see where all this, the fundamentals and the technicals connect. All right, guys, that's it from me. There's not a hell of a lot to sort of tell you about, except, focus on the key pairs where the direction or traders' eyes globally will go, and it's with these general releases, okay? US and Chinese CPI, the major focus. Obviously, the Chinese CPI will impact the Kiwi and Aussie as well as the Yuan, but US CPI should potentially impact all major pairs, right? So we're looking at see what we can make out of that. All right, guys, all the best for trading today. Cheerio.